What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we put the real in reality or whatever. Period. I'm your host, Pharaoh. We're joined by our wonderful co-host, Lee. Lee, baby, we are here to talk about week 3 of Big Brother 4. Miss Dana has ruled the house.
Man troll.
Miss Man Troll. Lord. Oh my God. Dana has ruled the house with an iron fist.
Girl.
It's bad. Well, maybe it's
bad.
good. It's fun. I'm having a good time, personally.
I'm definitely having a good time because of the shifting of the house dynamic. Like, yes. I remember thinking literally, like, when we first started, like, I'm interested to see how June and Alison, like, kind of do this photo strategy throughout the game. Because I'm also thinking, like, well, one side is extremely larger than the other. But this week, they're literally split right down the middle. And now it seems like the Three Stooges has more numbers than the original 8. So it's like, this house is clearly going to keep shifting, and it's not done yet. This was such a great week for Alison. Like, when I tell you, if I was watching this live, I would have been standing Alison down so bad. You mean to tell me the entire house hates her and wants her gone? The girl won. Well, no, the girl was nominated as the house target. Got veto used on her. It's like only the second time in Big Brother history,
ever. Second time it was used. Period.
So, and then she goes on to win the next HOH. Like, please, Alison.
Put her on All Stars. She would be a shoe-in for All Stars, which
she was. Now she went on All Stars. It wasn't.
We're not there right now.
We're not there yet. We're in Big Brother 4, Alison, and that's my mama. That's my mama.
That's my mama. Actually, do you want to fight?
Oh, okay.
She said she wanted a big family. So we're her son. Let me pull up the images, y'all, because girl, shit is going down. We need to make sure we're getting it all together.
This is a whole different game, baby.
Yes. And let me we're gonna have to move some people around.
I was gonna say, I don't know why you put June in the middle.
Bear with us, because I have a reason, I have a rhyme.
Okay.
We gonna get there, y'all. We're gonna get there. Because really, she don't even need to be there for my reason, my rhyme. But let's just start off. So last week, of course, we saw Michelle went home. It was a blind side. The Three Stooges were gagged and gooped. Dana goes to win the HOH. Luckily for them, honestly, because Dana immediately is on some, I want to work with these boys. I want to work with the Three Stooges. I want to be with them. Boom. And this is what's leading into this week. Now, before this week, last week, June was floating over here. She was more over here. Even Dana had just voted with the people over there as well. She was over here as well, right? With the original 8. So last week it was giving this, the original 7, because Scott had went home. It was giving this, which is a very big skew, like Lee was saying. We went into this week, Dana wins the HOH, and we immediately start getting the conversations. If y'all don't recall, everybody was after her last week. The Stooges, the OGs, June, Alison, Justin, literally every single person was not fucking with her. She was at the bottom of the house. I do want to point out, that's why this season has been so good. Because G was a pawn, won the next HOH. Everyone was after Dana, won the next HOH. Everyone's after Alison. Like, bitch, we're here. But we start this week off. Dana wins HOH, and a lot of conversations start happening because everybody got to get Dana on their side since everybody was talking shit on Dana. And that's basically what's happening at the beginning.
Don't make no mistake, the entire house wanted this girl going. The Stooges and the original 8. So both sides, before she can make nominations, are really trying to get her to believe that it wasn't us who wanted you out, it was the other side.
Yep. And she's trying to do some investigating because she heard about it through June had already told her. We saw that on the episodes. And she heard the fact that there was this plot to try to get her backdoored or renommed last week. Not backdoored. They don't know what
right, because interesting enough, they don't call it a backdoor yet. But that was definitely the plot. They wanted to get that girl up out of here via the backdoor.
Ooh, I do want to address this. Because Alessandro says this is the power of equitable comps. Yeah, and I do agree. Because when two women have won HOH already, it's been power shift to power shift. People on the bottom have won HOH. People on the top have won HOH, and it's like that's what makes a dynamic season.
And I feel like we're finally seeing that again because unlike that's like the previous 2 seasons, we were comparing it low key to BB25 and BB24. It's like a lot of the things we were saying about the BB Rewind seasons were not necessarily present in the current day seasons, but everything I'm saying that's so interesting about this season literally happened in BB26. So I'm hoping that these equitable comps will keep these new era seasons just as good as the OG seasons were. More women winning, more shifts in the game, just different dynamics, like a new person at the head of the house every week, a legend winning at the end of the season. It's like, I'm so happy that we have equitable comps in the new era now, because this is the product that we get, something that's so similar to these good OG seasons.
I agree. So when we started this week off, Dana is trying to do some investigating to figure out who was talking shit. She has conversations with a few of the OGs. Specifically, David speaks to her, Nathan speaks to her, Erika speaks to her. They specifically were trying to push her towards targeting the Stooges, because David has a conversation and says they had a plan the whole time. They told me about it. I was trying to look out for you. Nathan and Jack were trying to look out for you, etc., etc. So she's hearing that from David. From Erika. Erika is basically trying to say that Justin is the biggest threat. He was a part of this plan to get you out. Maybe you should try to push towards getting him out. Alison chimes in and kind of says the same thing. So there's a lot of people on the OG side trying to say it was the Stooges. They had a plan the whole time and you need to target them. And it's like, not that she should have listened, but they're not fully lying. That was kind of a concept that the Three Stooges had last week. I don't know.
Well, I just think that, she has to choose a side. She has to go with a group of people. And I do feel like, the OGs, they were fully pushing for that backdoor plan to make sure one of them didn't go home. Like the Stooges, they, of course, it was an option and it was something that was considered, but it wasn't their main goal. And I think that's why we see now the Stooges are way more loyal to Dana than they were, because they were willing to work with her. Whereas I feel like if Dana chose the OGs, they would have just thrown her away. I think Dana is more of a priority with the Stooges than she is with the OGs, for sure.
I agree. And I do think it makes sense, because from her perspective, if she was working with this big group of people and she found out that they were a part of this, it's like the Stooges had no prior loyalty to her. Y'all were supposed to be loyal to me and y'all were a part of this plan. So if it's fuck everyone, which is kind of what she starts saying throughout the week, she's like, if nobody was fucking with me, it doesn't matter, June. She's trying to tell June this. She's like, look, June, they don't care about us. So I would rather go with the people I fuck with, which is the Three Stooges. And that's kind of what ends up happening. And so we kind of quickly see who she's leaning towards, because there's a combo at the beginning of the week where Dana is telling Rob about the 8 original Alliance pact. She literally exposes it to him, and that there was a pact to evict all of the exes. So it's like, okay, girl, it's giving. Let me move her over, y'all.
No shade. That's as soon as she won, it was obvious that she was gonna flip with the men. No shade. Dana, she wants to work with them. We were seeing in the archives that ever since the feast turned on, she had been closer with the Three Stooges. The Three Stooges did not reciprocate any of that. Of course, they are this week because they have to, but she has always been closer to them. So I'm not shocked that this was the decision she made when she won.
I agree. So she also talks to Robert and she talks to G about what was going on last week. Robert and G let her know that the other side was pushing very hard for Dana to be renommed, specifically Nathan and Allie. And he's like, the Stooges never was a part of that. It was Nathan and Allie who was doing that. And June is in the room now. Robert is in the room now. And they're all discussing a potential group to form between June, Dana. At this point, they were like Robert, Justin. The 4 of us can link up. Obviously, G is connected, and we see how that develops further throughout the week. But they're discussing maybe working together, and the fact that Nathan and Allie specifically were pushing hard for Dana to come after her. Right. Now, this leads into some stuff, because this is kind of what trickles down to what's happening throughout the week. So Dana goes, she talks to Alison about this. She confronts her and she's like, look, girl, were you targeting me? Because I feel like you were. What's tea? Dana and Alison do not care about calling each other out. Like, this is a good little rivalry for real, for real. I fucks with it. Alison is like, look, I wasn't targeting you. I want to work with you and Nathan and June. I want to stick together. Because if y'all don't recall, that was kind of the first little group. Nathan, Allie, June, Dana. And Allie is trying to claim that that's what she still wants to stick with. Dana goes, she calls Nathan out about the same thing. And both of them are trying to deflect and still trying to get her to target the Stooges. But at this point, it's not given that's going to work, right? So after this, she's like, look, I need to figure out who I'm going to nominate. She's still talking to the Stooges. She's speaking with Justin. And we kind of realized, we saw in the episode, Justin and Dana have this little flirt thing.
Yeah, which is definitely stronger now that she won, because he was the main one saying last week that he made a deal that he would go after Dana, so he has to follow that if he were to win. Of course, they did just get screwed over by the OGs. You know, last week the Stooges felt like they could work with David and Jack, but David and Jack showed them they ass and voted against them. So now they're kind of like trying to recalibrate. And with Dana as the HOH, they're sticking way closer to Dana. So we see this week that Justin has been all over Dana.
Very much so. So he's kind of trying to push her towards who she should nominate. She's asking him, she's like, well, Justin, who do you think I should nominate? And he mentions maybe Jack and Allie, maybe Nate and Allie, if you're afraid someone might win the veto, something like that.
And this is big because Dana has already promised Alison that she is not going up. She's spoken to the girls and basically promised her, Alison, Erika, and June that they were not going to go up this week. So, you know, her being told by Justin to put up Alison, it seems like, was that influencing her decision? Because at first it was never going to be Alison. And then all of a sudden she's like, well, now Alison has to go.
So, mind you, during all of these conversations, we see on the feeds, Dana's like, June is going to be my head honcho number one. What did she call? I forgot what she called it.
She said like consigliere or something.
Consigliere. She wants June to be her main apple scrapple in charge. So June is sitting in on a lot of these conversations quietly, how she does. But we start seeing her perspective whenever they would leave the room, because Dana would have the conversations with the Stooges. They'd leave and June would be like, well, girl, I don't know. Like, I was talking to G and I asked him, I was like, is that a plan? And he started stuttering. So I felt like since he was stuttering, he was clearly lying. So girl, is it giving we need to work with the Stooges, or is it giving we need to stay with the 8? I feel like we should stay with the 8. And Dana was not having it at all. June kept trying to convince her of this. And that was interesting for June, because a part of me was like, isn't it kind of good that it's splitting in a more even way, so that way you're more in the middle rather than potentially on a bottom? I don't know. I feel like it was a little bit.
And I think that's the interesting thing of watching, you know, her play, you know, the origins of what this floater strategy is, because they are working out like, what are the positives? Is it best to keep the house in a full split, or is it best to stay with the numbers? And it seems like June initially thought it's better to stay with the numbers instead of going with these 3 Stooges that are just gonna, you know, go down on a sinking ship. But I do like her natural instinct, because even though Dana did not want to go back with the original 8, June was all in with the Stooges this entire week. Like, she is now an official member of their alliance. Like, they are not talking about targeting her anymore like they previously were. So she definitely knows when to adapt. I just think my only issue with June this week is that she showed the other side how much of a flip-flopper she can be. Because she was all with the Stooges this week and barely talked to Jack, Erika, Alison, Nathan that much at all. Like, she was checking with them here and there and kind of like dropped seeds of like, oh, you know, this is what Dana may be thinking. This is who they may be targeting. But it wasn't anything concrete, and they saw right through it. So it's like June really exposed her ass this week, because she kind of like boldly chose a side.
Yep. She, like, once she figured out Dana was leaning towards this way, even like as she was figuring it out, she was in the conversations with the 3 Stooges, making up this new 5 alliance that they were making. She was in the room giving suggestions and shit. There was literally a point, I was like, she's giving a lot of suggestions. Like, is she a part of this? But she was just playing them to make them feel like she was fully with them. But the whole time she's still trying to convince Dana to target the Stooges and not the OG. So I think that was what her initial thought process was. But I also noticed on her diary rooms, it seems like by the end of the week, she's happy Dana made this decision, because at the end of the week, she's like, I'm kind of glad Dana decided to take this bold move for me, because now, no one else has to do it. She's already made this bold move to kind of bust things open. And I honestly think this was the best thing for June's game. So it's good it happened. But it's interesting because she also mentioned stuff like about control and stuff like that. And I'll get into that later because she talks about it. There's a whole segment of June on the episode. And it's like, do they know this girl finna win?
They know June was gonna win. They knew June was gonna win since day one, because she has been given these like spotlight diary rooms this entire time. Like it gives literal winner.
So Dana is trying to figure out her noms. As that's happening, June is doing her little seed dropping to the OGs. She talks to Jack and she tells Jack, look, Dana trusts the Stooges way more than y'all, and it's giving she's finna target the 8. So she lets him know, and then she goes back and she tries to convince Dana to not do that. So she's definitely leaning towards working with them at this moment, still trying to help them out, still giving them seeds, dropping stuff like that. Whole time, Dana is talking to Robert, talking to Justin, talking to G about who she's finna nominate, because now she wants to target Alison. She found out Alison was pushing her name. Justin just said nom Alison and Jack, and she said, yes, sir. Sir, yes, sir. So that's definitely what it's given at this point. She's leaning towards nominating them. Now that Jack has this information from June, him and David try to go to prevent Dana from doing this. They kind of have a talk about how the Alliance is going to have your back. If you work with us and you keep working with us, we're going to have your back. We're going to just get the rest of them out. We're going to move forward. And Dana's very frank with them, because she's kind of like, I know you'll just get me out next. So I kind of don't care anymore at this point. It's kind of just like, I don't have a choice. Sure, you guys can promise me whatever. Sure, they might have said whatever, but at the end of the day, after y'all get them out, I'm going next. So I might as well go with them where I'm number 4, then go with y'all where I'm number 8, 7. Yeah. So it's like, well, she's feeling that feeling,
because she really is not a priority for them at all. And like I said, to be fair, she wasn't for the Stooges either, but I think choosing the Stooges is the best bet for her moving forward.
I agree. So, boom. Alison specifically is starting to notice how June is moving. She's starting to let some of the other girls know. Some of the other girls are agreeing, but it gets worse throughout the week. So put a pin in that. Then we get the nominations. So Dana decides to nom Alison and Jack, like Justin said. Now, Lee, what do you think of these particular nominations? Because, like, I don't know.
I mean, with Alison, like, it's valid only because they don't necessarily have the strongest relationship. Alison does not like her and would also target her. I just think that necessarily it wasn't out of full strategy. I think that she was more thinking emotionally how she felt about Alison. Like, there definitely could have been like a stronger target from the beginning, like Nathan, which she says that she regrets by the end of it. She doesn't do Nathan. Or like the fact that David went home. Like, David going home is pretty good. Like, I wish she would have just kind of targeted him from the beginning as well. But getting Alison out isn't terrible, but she wasn't even able to do it because of Alison's power. So I don't think they were like bad nomination, because it's a split house. You choose 2 people from the other side, but there could have been a little bit more strategy, less emotional.
Yeah, I actually hated them. I even hated that like Justin suggested it like this, because to me the obvious thing was to either do Nate and Alison or do Jack and David. Don't do one from each pair, because now all 5 of the bitches is mad at you. You could have did.
But that's why I said I don't think it matters, because they were going to get mad anyway.
And that is true. I just feel like she could have did some slick shit on some, well, Allie and Nathan, I'm not going to target y'all. So maybe y'all can target the Stooges instead of me. But we know, for example, you put up Allie and Nathan. If you put up Allie and Nathan, when Nathan wins veto, he can't use it on Allie. And now both of them are still here. And now Allie wins the next HOH. The gag is if she put up Allie and Nathan, Allie would have went home. And who's winning the next HOH? Not the person who potentially could take Dana out. So it's like shit like that. It's like you gotta be more intentional with your noms, because it could prevent something like literally you going home. Like, Alison literally wouldn't be here if you put up Alison and Nathan, period. And that's the person who I think takes her out. So it's like, girl, you got to be a little more specific. Or even Allie is very, spiteful. If you didn't come directly for her and you just put up David and Jack and said, Allie, I'm gonna stick with you, I don't think Allie would have targeted Dana next week. I think she would have targeted Justin. And she'd be like, y'all, let's just evict Justin. So it's like you should have pick and choose your battles. So that's why I was like, ooh. And then when I saw the results, I was like, definitely she should have made different noms. Because girl, what the fuck is you doing? But we move. So she makes her nominations, and we get more convos from Alison about June. She starts continuing to say that June and G have this, secret alliance going on. Mm-hmm. She's been saying it like every day. It's getting crazy. But some of them are starting to actually agree. David is like, honestly, y'all, I'm starting to believe it because what the fuck is going on? She's having conversations with Nathan, and Nathan's like, I kind of agree with this because what the fuck is going on? There was like a big conversation with Nathan and Allie, and Nathan was like, Allie was like, well, low-key, we might need to target June because she's doing a lot. She's doing the most. And Nathan was like, I don't think it's giving target her, but she's definitely doing a lot, which is very interesting because I think it's like when it comes to floaters, people get mad at them and people hate them a lot more than the regular players, the opposition. But it's stupid to target them because next week, June is someone who might work with you or vote with you, whereas the Stooges are never going to do it. So it's like, I don't know what they should do about that. It's very confusing when it comes to that. But we move. So there's this segment. Allie eavesdrops on the Three Stooges. The Three Stooges and Dana are all in the bedroom. And Alison is like listening in on them, eavesdropping on them. And she hears that their next target after Allie is going to be Nathan. And June told Nathan and Allie that they were targeting David. And so Allie's like, this girl is lying. I heard them say they're targeting Nathan. June's telling me they're targeting David. And this kind of pushes them even more against June in this moment. So it's getting a little bad. It's getting a little bad. No shade, no shade, no shade. We start to hear a lot of talk about what the alliance of the OGs is going to do next week. David, Erika, Nathan, and Jack, they have a conversation about who should they target from the Stooges. Now that they know that June's playing them, they know Dana flipped, they're like, what should we do? And a lot of them are like, we should target Dana or Justin. Like we should come after, like we should nom Dana or Justin, maybe nom June and Dana. They don't know who they should target first or what they should do. And honestly, I don't know. Because they're like, June's a flipper. We should just target her. They're like, Dana flipped on us. We should just target her. Should we just target Justin? I don't know. What you feeling?
I don't really have any thoughts, honestly.
Yeah. So there they are with that. Alison keeps talking about how June is a good player and she needs to go. And they keep trying to throw her out as the next target. But after this, and this is what I like about Alison, she always talks to everyone because even though Dana nominated her, she goes to Dana and she's like, look, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. I just feel like I thought we were closer than this and I'm just a little hurt by what you did. And she's trying to play in her face, which is hilarious. But I like that she's always active in the game,
Yeah, she's a really good active player. She tries to stay on people's good side. I don't think it works all the time. But at least she tries for sure.
Mm-hmm. This is the part where we start seeing like anti-David stuff because so far it was like, okay, Jack and Allie are nommed. Allie's going home. That's just it. But we start to see conversations. Rob has a conversation with G. They talk about how much they don't like David. For some reason, because Nathan didn't like David either. I don't know why they don't like David. They don't really fully explain. They're just like, they feel like they can't get a connection with him. They feel like he pretends to be this type of way, this goofy guy, but really he's really smart. So people aren't fucking with David. They don't trust David. So that kind of leads to where we see it leads to, And Dana has this little crush thing going on. And we can get into the drunk situations because they gave them alcohol, y'all. And it got wild in the house. No shade. Because they started getting drunk. Dana has this crush on David. And she says she likes David more than she likes Justin. But she still likes Justin. But they're flirting. And then we saw in the segment on the show how Justin and Dana has this thing, girl. No shade. I don't see it. I really don't, personally.
Yeah, what's his name? Jack said he don't see it either. She said Dana has the sex appeal of a buzzard's crotch.
He did say that. And it's no shade. It's no shade. I don't see it. I was surprised when on the episode Justin was like, it's genuine. Like in the diary, he was like, it's genuine. No shade. No shade to Dana. Well, no, it's shade to Dana. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie because, not my type personally. But we move. So they all get drunk. And at first, the drunk shit is fun. They're just playing drunk games. They're all having a good time. Everybody's flirting with everyone. Except June.
Can Big Brother please bring back alcohol? Like the fact that they were drinking alcohol basically all day, like they were drunk as fuck by the end of the night, and then they were playing like different card drinking games. Like that's so fun. Like I want to see the people get drunk in New Age BB. Like I feel like that would just cause so much like natural interactions and drama,
and that's literally
caused so much drama from this.
Yeah. For no, like, well, literally for a reason. That's the thing. Giving them alcohol was so fun because it's like now they're being more themselves, loosening up, and that's what caused a bunch of shit that went down. But it was funny because all the boys were getting like horny. G was getting a little too, like in it, and so were the girls. And June, she made a comment and she was like, "Dang, like none of y'all want me for real." And it's like, damn, because they were all over Alison.
June was flirting with people all night, and they kept being like.
You're funny, and it's like no, June.
She wanted some Dickiana. I get it, girl.
It was getting embarrassing though. This is my girl, y'all. But it was getting embarrassing. I was like, June, please calm down, baby, please. She was like, if I got in your bed tonight, what would you do? Who's she talking to? David. She's not talking to David. She's like, if I got in your bed tonight, what would you do? And he was like, oh, I would get out of the bed. I would. And it's like, oh my god. She wanted him to flirt. He was not doing it. But hey, we move. So when they're drunk, there's the scene with Allie and Justin in the hot tub. And we saw this on the episode as well because Nathan had won the POV and Nathan told Allie that he was going to use it on her. She knows at this point he was going to use it on her. So when they get drunk, she's like trying to play the game, trying to pull people over to her side. She has this whole plan that she gets into afterwards. But in the hot tub, her and Justin were like pouring the candle wax on each other's titties. They're like flirting. She's rubbing on his leg. We saw it in the episode. And in this conversation, she starts revealing a lot of information. She reveals the fact that Nathan is going to actually use the veto on her, and she also says that look, June and Dana are gonna be the targets next week, not y'all. And at first I was like, girl, what are you doing? You're just drunk. Like I thought she was just drunk, but she had a plan. So I don't know. She had a plan. Justin tells this information to Dana. Dana is very pissed that she's gonna be the target. She's very pissed that Nathan is going to use the veto on her because she didn't think Nathan would, which is Lee, they dumb as fuck.
No one thought that he was going to use it, which is insane to me. Like they have been cuddling in the same bed since week 1. I don't know why no one thought that he was going to use this veto.
That was crazy to me. Like, girl, what the fuck? But she was upset. She was literally so surprised that she was upset that he would even think about using the veto. And from here on, there's like this anti-Nathan thing that Dana has because he's going to use the veto on her, which is stupid to me, but we move. So Justin also tells the rest of the alliance, which is Dana, Robert, G, and June, that Allie let him know that June and G have this secret alliance. And it didn't seem like they believed it. It seemed like he was saying it in the sense of like, oh, how funny. She thinks y'all have this secret alliance. And June and G have to like play it off. But it's like, now they know, separate, y'all getting caught up a little bit. So all of this flirting and shit Allie did, all this plan she did with Justin, it pissed Nathan off. It's what we saw in the episode, how he had that conversation with her in the bed. And he's like, what are you doing? Everything you do, everyone thinks you're an idiot. Everyone thinks you're dumb as fuck.
And she ate him up so bad because by the end of that night, they were still cuddling all over each other. Like, girl, he told me something, I'm not going to use the veto. She's like, well, if you don't want to use it, then don't use it. He's like, I won't. And then he came back. He was like, I'm going to use it. You just think you're acting like this and da-da-da-da. Like, girl, please. Alison is not changing.
So that night as well, because I think the episode kind of left it ambiguous. No, ambiguous. But no, but within that night, he had already re-agreed to use the veto on her. And later that night, there's a conversation with him, Allie, and David, and they have this plan. And Allie's plan is to threaten June to evict Jack once David is renommed. They know that if Nate uses the veto on Allie, David will be the renom, and they're like, maybe we can have this plan to get him to convince June to evict Jack instead of David. So the plan is, step one was her telling Justin that June and Dana will be the targets, because she knew Justin would tell June and Dana. And she's like, if June knows we'll target her, we can threaten her and be like, we're going to target you unless you evict Jack instead of David. So this was the plan. We never see it happen, but this was the idea and her alleged concept for Alison doing everything she did or whatever.
Yeah, which I low-key feel like she came up with after the fact. No shade.
Yeah, it's like it was giving you got caught flirting. So you had to come up with something that made sense. It made a lot of sense. Honestly, I thought it was a cute plan. I wish they would have enacted it, but I mean, hey, we move. So, boom, we start talking about who we're evicting, because now they know that David's going to probably be renommed. Nathan is using the veto on Alison. So of David and Jack, who's the biggest threat? And even at the beginning of the week, Erika was having conversations with David, and she was like, Jack isn't that useful. We might even need to save Alison over Jack.
Yeah, it's like, girl, Erika, where's your loyalty, low key? Because you've been working with this Jack since the beginning of the game, and you're over here like, oh well, he ain't winning competitions. He might could go. Like, damn, like it was really Jack that like went to work and saving her like last week, and she like, well, yeah, he gotta go. He gotta go.
Yep. And then even now she's like, well, versus David versus Jack, David is a little bit more beneficial. So I don't know, y'all. Is it given we need to evict Jack over David? And it's like, damn, like she has no fucking loyalty. She's here to play the game. She just wants people who can help her move forward. So I mean, I guess I like it, but it's definitely brutal, baby. So boom, before the veto ceremony happens, Nathan does go into Dana and tries to convince her that if he uses the veto for her to put up one of the Stooges. It doesn't go nowhere. She's not having it. We move forward.
He tried.
He did try, which I respect. We go to the veto. He uses it on Allie. And then, of course, David is renommed. Now, I don't know. I still can't tell how serious the OGs were about this conversation. But on the episode and in the feeds, we saw this big powwow after the veto ceremony. What happened was damn near the whole new 5-person alliance with Dana, June, G, Justin, and Robert, plus Erika and David, were in the HOH room discussing how Nathan is fucked up for using a veto. He's only doing it because he doesn't like David and he wants David to be the renom. And we need to all just band together to come after Nathan and Allie. And it's like, damn, are y'all really down with this? I don't know, Lee. I couldn't tell how Erika really felt about that. Like, was she really mad at Nathan or was she just pretending? I still don't know.
Well, I know, like, there's a conversation later on the feeds and she's talking to Jack and David and she's like, I don't know who I'm more mad at, Dana or Nathan. And they were like, it's definitely Dana who you should be mad at. So she may be up in the air, because what Dana and the Stooges are trying to say is basically Nathan is the problem because he didn't do what the HOH wanted. He went against our wishes, like, and he did his own thing. But Nathan isn't at fault for this. He saved an ally with his veto, something that David should have did for you last week. No shade, Erika. Yeah, no, it's definitely Dana's fault. But yeah, I did like that. It seemed like June was the main person shooting this down of David staying. Like, she was like, they want David to stay, so we shouldn't keep David.
Yep. June like carried that sentiment, because what happened was, to spite Nathan, the Three Stooges and Dana were like, well, fuck it. Specifically Justin and Dana, who you think are like the head of this side. So you would think they would have the influence to make it happen. They were like, we should keep David because Nathan only used veto to take out David. First of all, I don't think that's the only reason he used veto. I think they're wrong and they're overestimating how much Nathan wanted David out. He didn't like him, but it wasn't giving this whole I just wanted David out. So that's the only, no, he just close to Alison. But they think he wanted David out. So in order to spite Nathan, let's save David and wield David against Nathan. David had a diary room. He was like, am I going to go after Nathan? I don't know. And it's like, he wasn't. Y'all doing the most. So June had to continuously say, no, David is the one they want to stay. Erika and Jack will want him to stay. He's going to help them more. We need to make sure that David goes home because he's more beneficial to the other side. She had to keep reminding them, which I like. I feel like that was impressive. This was like the first thing I feel like June successfully was able to get done, which is get David out, because everyone else, Justin, Dana, Erika, all wanted him to stay at this moment. And it's like, you don't need that to happen. So she definitely helped that. David did a good job trying to campaign. He was like, he went to the Stooges and he's like, look, you need somebody to go after June and Dana. You need someone to go after Allie and Nate. Like, I can be that person. You can use me. Please use me. They pretended to consider it, but by the end of the week, David, of course, goes home. And we're moving forward from there. And there you go. But yeah, a lot of good details. We see Allie win the HOH after that, eats it up, and here we are. That's my mama. And now we got another shift. So the whole board
going to be different. Talk about the deal that Dana had made with Erika and Jack.
Go ahead, go for it.
Well, you should,
because at the towards the end of the week, Dana offers Erika this deal that if she targets Nate and Alison, that they'll have 2 weeks of safety with her. Erika is claiming she'll take the deal. From Erika and Jack's perspective, they're like, okay, we could play the middle between the two sides going into next week. So going into next week, they're like, if Allie or Nate win the HOH, we'll just continue to side with them. But if the Three Stooges win the HOH, oh well, Allie and Nate have to go home. Fuck it. They're just like, we're going to play the middle. So going into this week, now that Allie is the HOH, we can assume Jack and Erika are going to be like, okay, we can stick with it, and then we'll play the middle. So now it's kind of shifted, because at first, June and Alison and Nate were able to play the middle. But now that Dana has taken this side, it's a new split. Jack and Erika are trying to play the middle against this anti-Allie and Nate thing, and then the Three Stooges. So moving forward, or the Five Stooges now. So moving forward, everybody's basically after Allie and Nate. And then Allie and Nate are only being supported by Jack and Erika because of the situation that they're in. They're just trying to play the middle, which I think shows why Jack and Erika make it so far in the game. Because I was confused at first. I was like, how the fuck does Erika get to the end? No shade. But I think that's why, to be honest. Because of this, literally this week is how Erika can make it to the end, which is very interesting. But boom. So there we are. That's where we're going next week. Allie's HOH. I'm excited. We can see what the fuck is T. Let's get into these motherfucking ratings. Period. So, on the top, we have last week. On the bottom, we have this week. David went home. Lee, how do you feel about David overall? He was top 4.
Yeah, no, I think David overall, he's not a bad player necessarily. You know, I do like that he kind of comes up with different strategies and plans, and he actually goes and enacts them. You know, a lot of the reason why they were able to pull this blind side with Erika and Michelle was because of, you know, him going to the Stooges and, you know, curating these deals and playing in their face and making them like genuinely like him. You know, even this week with sending him home, the reason why he's going home is because they felt like he's the bigger threat because they like him so much. You know, they keep talking about how they don't know how, you know, positive the house is going to be after he leaves. I just think that he's someone that definitely has a good social game. And if, you know, the house wasn't split the way it was, I think he definitely could have made it further. I don't even think he did too many things wrong. Like, they kind of just needed a renom, and David was the next best option because Erika is not a threat. So and Nathan had the veto. You know, he really wouldn't have even been an option if she just, you know, put up Alison and Nathan first. You know, Alison or Nathan probably would have left this week. So it was a really circumstantial. I feel like overall with him, I can go with the 5.5. You know, I think if we saw him longer in the game, he could even be a higher score than that. It's kind of just in the 5 area because we didn't see him last that long.
Yeah, I do agree. I liked what I saw. He was coming up with a lot of plans. He was able to successfully enact a lot of the plans they were trying to do. He had the Three Stooges kind of fooled because even this week when he was pitching, they were like, honestly, we do want you to take out Dana and June, and we do want you in Final Four with us. We'd rather it be us three and you. And it's like I do think they were genuine to a point because they would have conversations alone about how much they actually trusted David to a point. So I feel like he could have successfully made it if he would have made it past this week. But because of circumstance, like you said, if she would have just nommed Nathan and Alison, then one of them would have went home because Nathan was the backup plan. Alison was the main plan. David was the third plan that came through after all of that other shit happened. So it's like, it was almost like you wouldn't have even went home. But I do feel like he kind of does a lot that can put eyes on him. Like when he did go against them after flipping the vote, they were more mad at him than anybody else. And I feel like he could have continued to do stuff like that because he was so active and almost like adamant about being in front of people. Like they even said this week, they were like, we think David controls Erika and Erika controls Jack. So David's the main person, the key to that side of the house. So it's like stuff like that I feel like would have got him caught up regardless in the future if the wrong people win the HOH. Even if Nathan and Alison were like, okay, it's time to target that side, they probably would have targeted David because everyone kind of had this perception that he was the one who he's smarter than he's letting off. He's actually focusing on the game. That's why he was such a threat to June. June was like, he's one of the people in the house who genuinely are putting their emotions to the side, and that's a threat. So I think he would have been a threat regardless, but him being a threat is because he is smart and he was playing the game pretty well. I'm gonna give him a 4.5 just because the placement, like I wish I would have saw him succeed more, but he's definitely in the 5 range, like you said. I do agree. Next is Dana. Damn. I can't believe we had her last. Well, yes, I can. Because she's not that good. I personally think with Dana and with Nathan, but we'll get to it with Nathan, that they did the right thing with the power this week. They just handled it incorrectly. If Dana was going to target people, I already said it earlier, she should have chose one of the factions on the other side. I think it would have helped her a little bit. Or she should have just nommed Nathan with Alison because Alison going makes it way more likely for someone on her side to win the Who got second in HOH? I forgot. But if Alison would have went this week, it would have made it another option for who would win the HOH next week. So, and it's like, that's a direct issue with the HOH she just had. And I know this girl finna go home. So it's like, you literally could have avoided Alison being HOH if you would have just did the right thing with your noms. So I don't like that she did the wrong thing with her noms. Her picking the side was fine, but I think the way she did it, walking around, calling people out, Alison, what'd you say about me? Nathan, what'd you say about me? Not really giving other people the time of day. It's like she should have did a little bit more organizing with her situation. Because even the deal with Jack and Erika, they don't have to take it because one, they don't have to win the comp, which is why they claimed they were going to throw it because they wanted to play to both sides. And then two, you just put up Jack. So he don't got to honor shit you talking about. So I just didn't like that. And I do feel like she made herself one of the head targets for this side. The way she came after their side was so sloppy. And I don't like that. But she won HOH. She picked the side. I do think she picked the right side. So I'll give her the 1.5 just to be nice.
Yeah, I think she definitely did as best as she can with the HOH that she had. Like I said, I just wish it wasn't kind of more of an emotional decision overall to target Alison. I like that, she's kind of now a part of a group, this 5-person alliance, the Five Stooges. It is something solid that she has. Now, to be fair, are they thinking about bringing her to like top 3? No, it's them before June and Dana, but they're not talking about targeting Dana anymore. They now fully realize how much they need her in this game, which is good. Mm-hmm. It's just she's such a huge target for the entire other side. I think someone like Justin could go before her, but she would easily be nominated next to Justin. And if Justin wins veto, she is gone. Like, I do think that she has to win competitions from this point forward to stay in the game because she will easily be taken out. And it's not a situation where it's like, she could rekindle these relationships. I don't think people want to work with her. They've been trashing her since week one, and she's just very abrasive. And I don't really see that changing. She's open, she's honest, and she's gonna tell it like it is, to be honest. But it's her truth. It's not necessarily the truth, and it's just like it's really annoying people to the fact of like if she didn't protect the Stooges with this HOH, they probably still be against her too because she's just that unlikable. So it's like there's not much that she can do, as a player, And then on top of all of that, the main person she wanted gone, two of the main people she wanted gone are both here this week. David went home, and she did not want to see David go home at all. So I gave her the 2 last week. I'm gonna go down to 1.5 as well because I just feel like her position it's getting worse, especially with the fact that Alison is now the new HOH. Because she went from a position to where like people didn't like her and she was almost a target to now she is definitely going to be the head target because the side was chosen. She now has this duo with Justin. Everyone sees as a threat. There's just a lot of things going into like taking her out of this game.
Yeah, I also hated like. In the diary room, June, she was like, Dana think I'm her number one. I don't give a fuck about Dana. That's terrible. Right. Like that's your number. In Dana's mind, that's my consigliere. Like she's gonna be everywhere. Like that's my number one. Don't fuck me, June. Girl, June finna fuck you hard. So I don't like that either. So 1.5. Next is Robert. How you feel about Robert?
Robert, he's kind of just living his life in the house, really. Thankfully, Dana won HOH because that protected him this week. But he's not necessarily doing much else. He's on the side of the game, which is good. He's not just kind of like floating out there in space, and he's not necessarily the head target for the Stooges. It's definitely Justin. It's definitely Dana. Even June is someone that people is weary of now. So that's good. However, it's not really any work of his own. He's not making a relationship with the other side. He's not bringing them information. He's, fully on his side and he's only worried about that. Now, I do like that he is kind of solidifying the Three Stooges as an alliance. I do feel like both G and Justin would probably choose him in the final 3 scenario over each other, which is great for him. But like they have to kind of get there. And I really don't see a path. Like I know he makes it far, but it's like I don't really see a path of how he gets there other than a bunch of other people just being targeted in front of him. And that's not really his own doing. He's kind of just there choosing a side. So I haven't given him a 3. I'm gonna stick with the 3. I think that he can easily be targeted or nominated. He's probably not, like I said, the head target for their side, but he's definitely an option, and people just generally don't like him.
Yeah, I do agree with the 3. Everything you said, like when they're talking about potential for nominations, everyone on that side is like Justin and Dana for sure. We'll target either Justin or Dana. June could be a pawn or a target. And then Robert could be a pawn if we don't want to nominate any of these other people. So he's fairly safe. But also, it's just not necessarily his doing. It's more so Dana and Justin are pissing people off rather than him being good at the game. He doesn't really make any allegiances other than the Stooges. He doesn't talk to Nathan to try to make a deal. He doesn't make deals with Alison. He doesn't like Erika openly. Like he's not doing anything to get them to think this way. It's just his allies are playing worse than him. No shade. So they're pissing people off. So yeah, it's the 3 for me. Next is Justin. Damn, I gave him a 3 too. It's so hard for him because I feel like he basically controlled Dana's HOH in a lot of ways. She had a very good relationship with David. Dana and David's relationship was really good. He was rubbing on her booty this week. They were like cuddling and snuggling. Like they had this flirt mance going on. And she personally had a great connection with David. But I know Justin had conversations about, I mean, if you got to renom someone, it'll probably be David because they're doing this scheming and da. And then it landed on that. Justin was the one who said Jack and Alison, which was weird. It landed on that. She even said to Julie in her little conversation with Julie, she was like, I probably should have just put up Nathan and Alison. It's like, yeah, you probably should have, but you were listening to exactly what Justin said instead of what you were saying. So I just feel like he did have control over Dana. I think he does come up with a lot of the Stooges' plans. He's kind of the one coming up with some of those plans. And now he has a more firm alliance, but he could be the person targeted from that alliance. He it'll be interesting what happens this week. Knowing Alison is HOH, I'm assuming she's gonna put up him and Dana. And I'm like wondering, is he gonna just throw Dana under the bus? Because he could. So I'm interested to see what he'll do next week. But based off this week, it was pros because he ran the week and didn't get the blood on his hands. But it was cons because now you're still one of the biggest targets, and everyone knows he ran the week. Everyone talked about it. So I'm gonna just keep him at the 3, and we're gonna see what happens. I don't know.
I think my main issue with Justin is that he's the head target from that other side, and he's not really doing anything to lower his threat level. Like, I just feel like even though it's a split house, what puts Alison, June, Dana at a certain point, even Jack and Erika this week higher, is that they're actively trying to talk with the other side. And I feel like Justin, Robert, and G, they mainly only talk to each other. Yep. So it's like whatever happens to their game, whenever they're targeted, whenever they're finally evicted, it's because they're really just not doing anything to change the status quo, which is they have been targets from day one. And it's like, I just wish they would try to bond more, connect more, create secret relationships with people on the other side. And they're just not doing that. And with Justin, he's the head target of that side. So it's just like, Alice is now the current HOH. It's just like it's not looking good for him at all. So I think I'm gonna bring him down to the 2.5. Like it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, I do agree. Nathan is next. Hey, honestly, same thing you said about Justin, Robert, and G. Same with Nathan. He only talked to his bitches. But how you feel about Nathan?
Yeah, like that's one thing. He really only talks to like around the same people. And this week, the work he was trying to do, like it really only got him in more trouble. When he went to Dana to try and went to the Stooges to try to turn them against Dana and June. They ran that right back to Dana and June, so they're done with him now. Like that entire side is over him. He is the biggest target for the original 8 side, and I don't think that's changing because he doesn't really go out of his way to kind of change his perception in the game. They do see him as someone who is kind of on a weaker side. They feel like he's playing all sides, that he's a manipulator, that he uses people, which I don't think is necessarily true, but he's not doing it to change that perception at all. Mm-hmm. And so now going to this next week, he is protected because of Alison. And I don't think it was necessarily terrible that he used veto on Alison, but he didn't do anything to rectify the issue that the house would have. Like, the entire house isn't really wanting you to do this. Even Jack and Erika were feeling kind of some way about it. And he didn't really try to, sway people into feeling like it's okay for him to do it, make people feel better after the fact. Even, up until the eviction, he was kind of just laid up with Alison, and they were talking about their own plans and strategies. Now, I do like that they have the connection to Jack and Erika. Of course, if Jack and Erika win, they're good, but he is the head target for everyone on the Stooges side of things. So I'm going to bring him down to the 2.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. And like with Dana, like I said, I think he did the right thing with the power. He 1000% should have took out Alison. And you know what? I was telling Lee this. The whole Alison is the GOAT because she got Nathan to use the veto on her. It's great that she got Nathan to use the veto on her. But now that we've went through the season and watched the feeds, Nathan and Alison are literally a duo. Like it's not nothing new. They're a duo. It's like, bitch, Brooklyn and Chelsea. Like it's like Brooklyn not using veto on Chelsea. Like they are a duo. They've been together since day one, literally. They've been the closest in the house to each other since day one. So it's almost just like, duh, he should use the veto on Alison. It's not this big kind of event that I feel like has gotten hyped up to. I think what's impressive is that this is the first instance when an ally use the veto on another ally, because last season Jerry did it because Marcellus was black and gay. Let's just be honest. This is the first time the veto was used on someone because that's my ally. I'm sticking beside her. And I think that shows Alison's strength in the terms that she can make someone feel that close to her to willing to use it. She's the first person to ever do that. So still a good pro, but I love that he did it because it's like, that's what you should have did. I felt like David should have used it on Erika last week. Luckily, he was able to game it. And what David did last week is what Nathan should have did this week. I don't think Alison would have been able to stay from all these conversations, but what he could have done was Erika and David, or Erika and Jack, whoever, I want to use the veto because, like y'all said, Alison is stronger for us than Jack, like they were saying. So we need to find a way to keep me, you, Alison all in the game because she's more stronger for us. Erika, what should we do, Erika? So that way Erika isn't confused about where she wants to ally with by the end of the week, because Nathan didn't consult her on shit. Nathan didn't consult David on shit. He didn't try to bring June back in. He tried to turn the Stooges against June and Dana. I just feel like he went the wrong route with it and kind of just shut off all his other allies. He basically just talked to Allie about it and was like, I'm not telling nobody. They literally asked him. They showed it on the episode. There was a scene where Jack, Erika, David pulled him in the room and were like, are you planning on using the veto? He was like, I don't want to say anything until the day comes. Nigga, what? Like, tell us what you're doing. You're supposed to be our ally, our alliance. We can figure something out if you do it. So that was all wrong. He's definitely going to get targeted as soon as he's available. Him and Alison are huge targets, and specifically him, since he wanted to be the one winning this veto and using it on people and pissing people off. So, yeah, I might have to give him I think I'm going to have to give him the 1.5. I don't like it. Didn't like this week. Shut out a lot of his allies. Nobody fucking with him. So it's a 1.5 for me. I guess I'll give him the 2 because David going is way better than Alison going, and he was able to make that happen. So I'll give him the 2. Next is G. No thoughts, really. Like, the best thing is that he's the least talked about being nominated from his side, including June, Dana, Justin, and Robert. Like, when they're talking about potential noms, he's not even said anymore because now they have all these options because they don't fuck with all these other people. So that's the one pro. People seem to like him. There was a lot of segments of, we're playing pranks on Jew. We're playing pranks on G. Like, let's make G laugh. Let's do this to G. Everyone seems to like him, but that's it. He's not doing a lot of strategizing. He helped convince Dana to not think that he was going to backdoor him. So that's one pro, but there's just no thoughts. Just prayers. I gave him the 4 because I felt like he was protected and still in a good position. This week went good for him because Dana did all his dirty work, and now there's targets in front of him, and now he's in a solidified alliance. Him and June still have this thing going on. So I still like his position a lot better than his allies. I'm gonna keep him at the 4.
Yeah, G is
hard.
There's not much to it. Like, he's not really doing much in the game necessarily. With this earlier season, it is good that people like him. It is good that people do not want to target him. I feel like they see him as someone that they wouldn't mind winning the money, which is definitely, I think, good work on him in the house. But, similar to Justin and Robert, he isn't really socializing much with the other side. We know he has the secret alliance with June, but that doesn't really help him that much right now because June is on his side. So I would like if he had more relationship with Erika and Jack and things like that, because they're not targeting him now, but if they were to take out your entire side, you are an option. The good thing is that he has basically 4 buffers in front of him right now. So I do like that. It's just, I don't think he's necessarily doing anything with his position. He's not the person in the group that's coming up with plans or strategies, and he just came off of an HOH where no one did what he wanted. So I gave him a 3 last week. I'll move him up to the 4 as well because of the safety option. Like, I remember there was one conversation from the original 8. They were talking about the 4 Stooges, just June, Dana, Robert, and Justin. They didn't even care about G. And it's like, damn, like, they keep saying how G is someone they could potentially bring to that side even. Yeah. So he's definitely someone that could be playing more in this middle position. It's just him, out of everyone in the house, wants to choose a side. He hates basically everybody in the house other than the Street Stooges. So, he really doesn't socialize that much with anyone else either.
Yeah. I remember when I did my rewatch a while ago on this season, I compared G to like that player that everyone likes, but it's not because anything they're doing, no shade, they're just likable. To me, he falls into that. And this week really showed it. It's just like, they just like you, which is, it's not a negative. I can't act like that's a negative. It's not a negative. It's just like, you're not doing anything. It's like Matt from BB25. It's like, sure, they like you. So what? No shade. Right. But we move. Next is Erika. Erika is so weird. so weird in many ways. In many ways, even like as a person, she's very weird. And I don't know how to put her because she does so little strategizing, but she seems so smart. Like she understands now we can play the middle, but she doesn't like have a good rapport with the Three Stooges. She just knows she can play the middle now. She did have conversations this week with Dana to try to convince Dana of doing things and of the Stooges to try to agree with this we're all against Nate and Allie thing. I think she's very aware and understanding and smart about the positioning. She knows exactly where everyone's at. She knows everything that's going on, and she knows exactly what is best for her, but she doesn't do anything with that information. There's so many players we get like this. Like I have a few in mind where it's like they're super smart, but they don't do anything with that smartness. We kind of saw like no shade, love my girl, but towards the end of the season with T Core from BB26, it's like you know everything, but you ain't doing shit, mamas. And that's how I feel about Erika sometimes. It's like you kind of do stuff, but you're not really doing anything. You're just sitting with your two minions, Jack and David. No shade. And it's like it's giving me T-Core flashback. Like, girl, do something. So that's how I feel. I like that she's smart. I like that her position is now probably the one of the best ones. Now that David's going, it's like Alison and Nate have to target the Stooges. The Stooges have to target Alison and Nate. And that's at least like 4 rounds where it's like she's probably going to be ignored because she's not a threat. Her and Jack are planning on throwing the competitions, and they're planning on just sitting in the middle. So she's in a good position. She knows she's in a good position, but she didn't cause this position. She doesn't want David to go. She didn't ask for Dana to target this side. She didn't want any of this. It's kind of just the position she was handed, and she's going to accept it and play it as best as she can. So it's like you're smart and you're in a good position, but you're not doing shit for me. I'm just gonna give her the 4. Well, I think I'll give it a 5. I think I'll give it a 5. She's losing David, but it's a positive thing, which is crazy. So I'm gonna give it a 5. Positioning, everything I said. How you feeling?
Yeah, I would be much higher on Erika. Like I feel like 7, 8 if she had a good rapport with the other side. Like that's the biggest thing. Like now she's in the middle position, which is great for her. But I can easily see her slipping back into being targeted because Robert hates her. They made up a little bit. We saw that in the episode, but he still does not like her for the most part. G and Justin do not like her. June and Dana do not like her. They recognize that she's also mad with Nathan, so they want to play up on that. But let's say Nathan and Alison goes next. Erika and Jack will be the next targets immediately. So they can only play in this middle for a little while. And honestly, they need to make sure that kind of the sides stay even, but they're still technically a part of the other side. So while they're in the middle, I just feel like it's temporary. And I feel like she should be using this time to really start building a relationship with Dana, with June, working out something with the exes, but she's just not going that deep into it. She mainly, strategizes with Jack, strategizes a lot with David, not anymore since he's gone. But I would like to see her branch out a little bit more with her relationships because while she's safe for now, I just feel like that can easily change really quickly, especially with this type of house. Like they just shifted from everyone on one side to the house dead even down the middle. And now Alison, the new HOH, is about to take one from the other side. It's like, I can just easily see her being back in trouble, and that scares me. But I think I'm gonna give it a 5 for now. This was a great week for her. She wasn't nominated. She was included into the plans a little bit, and now she has this deal with the Three Stooges and Dana. So I'm just looking to see her grow more from that.
Next is Jack. He was top 3 last week. How you feeling about Jack?
Yeah, Jack was top 3 last week. He was nominated this week, child. Which wasn't the best, but I don't think he was ever really the target. Like there was a small moment after they found out that Nathan was using veto that they were like, well, when David got renominated, there was a small moment where they were evicting Jack, but that was changed within the same day. I mean, technically it never actually happened because as soon as David and Erika left the room, June and Dana were like, well, we don't want that to happen. And the Stooges was like, well, fine, it's not going to happen then. So, I just like Jack wasn't in any real danger. And he's also been kind of offered this deal of safety while they target Nathan and Alison. And what I like about Jack a little bit more than Erika is that he is more intentional with the relationships. We do see him talking with that side a lot more, and he's less threatening. He's more likable than Erika in their eyes. So I just feel like there's a lot of positives for Jack. I think the biggest thing is that, while he isn't as threatening, neither is Erika. And I think he is more threatening than Erika because they do see him as someone that is very intellectual. And I think that's going to come back to bite him at some point if they have to decide between him and Erika specifically. But I like Jack. I think Jack does a lot of the heavy lifting strategically and socially for him and Erika's duo. And a lot of the reasons why I feel like they're even open with offering this deal is because both of them did a good job in making it seem like they were also upset at Nathan, even though it's a lie. So with Jack, I'm going to give him the 5 as well.
I agree. I love Jack. I agree with everything you said. I actually really like Jack. He's like probably my third favorite after June and Alison, especially strategically. Like he should be top 3 because I genuinely think that he is probably the third best player, which is embarrassing. But he's very smart. He's always involving himself in the plans of the week. I noticed he's like one of the only people this season who's doing that. Like it don't matter. He's not playing both sides. He's firmly on one side. But when the opposite side wins the HOH, he still wants to know what's going on. He wants to be a part of the plan. He also
wants to push his own agenda. Like it's always kind of like, what are we gonna do that's best for us this week?
Exactly. And I love that. Like he, even more than Erika, is a part of, like you said, like the reason they're willing to make deals with them is, in my opinion, because of Jack. Jack has already been talking to them in the past weeks when G was HOH. He already has had conversations with them about deals. Jack was involved in both deals both weeks. Last week, it was Jack and David. This week, it's Jack and Erika. Like he's always involved in the deal because he's the one who's making sure it's happening because he's in the rooms with them trying to come up with some type of strategy for them to move around the week. He's very smart. I really love how savvy he is. The only issue is there were 1 or 2 times where people were like, I mean, he might not be helpful for our alliance. We might evict him. But at the end of the day, he clearly stayed. And I think that's also a testament to the fact that his threat level isn't high, but he's one of the smartest people. And that's the perfect place to be in. I could see Jack low-key winning the game. I hate to say it at this point because he is smart and he's not a threat. And once he starts sliding by, it's like, when is he going to go? So I'm going to give him the 5 as well. Would be higher if he wasn't nominated, honestly. That's messing him up for me. But yeah. Next is Alison. Oh, she's so weird and interesting because so many high highs and then a lot of low lows. Like very quickly, she got caught up playing both sides because when Dana found out that she was one of the people who was pushing against her, which mind you, June was too, but that never got back to Dana. But when she found out that Alison was one of the ones, of course, Dana is most pissed at Alison because they had a girls thing. It was June, Alison, and Dana and Nathan. So it's like Dana's going to be most pissed at Alison and Nathan because y'all were supposed to be my besties. And that's why Alison got targeted. It's like you got caught up spreading all of that information, doing all of that extra shit about Dana, and it's already caught up to you to where you could have went home this week if Nathan didn't win veto, which everyone could have played in. Justin was very close. If he didn't use the veto, which has only happened one other time from here. It's like so many particular things that couldn't have happened. But I think on the pro side is they did happen. You know, the fact that Nathan did use the veto on her, that is monumental. That doesn't happen in Big Brother at this stage of the game. The fact that even they were considering potentially even saving her against Jack. Erika and David had a conversation about how it would probably be better to keep Alison. I don't know that she would have got the votes, but the fact that that's a consideration is a testament to the fact that she's still someone who people are willing to protect or keep in the game, which I really, really like. And then we know she wins the HOH, but girl, if you didn't, was you just gonna go home? Because if Nathan can win vetoes, then what? Or if you're just on the block and Dana's like, I don't like that bitch, I'm evicting her, then what? Like Alison could go home next week because of how much of a target her and Nathan have became. And it would only be her winning a comp like the HOH that she does win that could protect her. So it's like, she had some highs, but it was a lot of lows, and I don't like her position. Moving forward, Erika and Jack are just using you. You know, moving forward, the entire rest of the house is coming after you. That's 5 people. June don't even like her ass. Who fucking with Alison? Just Nathan. So I don't like that. The only pro is that she got the veto used on her, and that's barely a pro. I'm gonna just give her. I don't like this at all for her. I'm gonna give her a 2.5, and that's mostly because the veto got used on her. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Yeah.
Lee?
It's really bad for Alison. It's really bad for her. Her threat level has skyrocketed over the last week, and with Dana making this decision to target her, it fully turned Justin, Robert, and G also just and June fully against her because she was the target in their mind. She was the threat that they wanted to go home, and the way it happened on how she got saved with veto by Nathan when no one wanted it to happen, it just made them dislike her more. Because now it's this person I didn't want here getting saved by someone that they feel like was making this decision against the entire house. So it's just these two people who are just doing their thing on their own that everyone hates. And, you know, when it's a duo together, it's easier to make it a big target. That's why Dana and Justin are also become a bigger target because they're paired off to each other. So honestly, I just don't know how Alison is going to continue in this game. Like, I'm so shocked that she makes it to the final two because realistically, it seems like she should be going home next. And it's great that she won this HOH, but it's like, I'm just trying to think like the next time the Stooges get in power, which is likely to happen, it should be Alison.
Yeah.
But I would assume, of course, we don't know yet, that she, you know, fixes some of her relationships, maybe get in a better position, someone becomes a bigger target than her. Because right now, she isn't the biggest target in the game. Nathan is still a target in front of her, but she is one of the biggest. And if Nathan were to win veto something next week, she should be the one leaving. Well, she's the HOH for the week after that. So right now, I'm just not high on her game. I'm gonna go with 2.5 as well, honestly. Like, the only positive for me was that she got the veto used on her and that she won the HOH, of course. But as far as her game, she's really backed into a corner and she doesn't seem like she has many options at all. Like, it seemed like if she didn't win HOH, she would be the one leaving, period.
Yeah. Also, a negative of Nathan using the veto on her is people feel like she made him do it. They're like, he's just doing anything Alison says. He's not helping because he's walking around. Allie's the brains. She's the smartest person in the house. And it's like, people are gonna have that perception. If they were final nominees, I can see people being like, Alison can fucking go because she runs Nathan. With her here, he's gonna do everything she says. If she's gone, we can run Nathan, which is probably true. No shade. But we move.
Right.
Next,
but for right now, they're saying basically that they feel like Alison will be lost without Nathan in the game.
Yeah, which is stupid as fuck. No shade. They dumb as fuck because Nathan is the biggest target and she's the second biggest. The biggest. Next is June. Lee, how you feel about June?
June, child, it's not looking too good for June. I think what separated her from the pack, especially as you saw last week, the big gap was that while everyone else was fighting and going against each other, she was smack dab in the middle. Yep. Now, this week, she chose a side. I don't think that she internally chose one at all. I think that she still is willing to work with Jack and Erika and Alison and Nathan. It's just when Alison became this target this week and they started trashing Nathan a lot, June kind of cut ties with them a little bit. And in doing so, she also did the same with Erika and Jack. And on their perspective, they're seeing her in the HOH with Dana, every single conversation and all of these alliance meetings with the Five Stooges. So there was just this disconnect. And now they see her as the literal brains at the other side. Now it's a conversation if they should just pawn June next to Justin or just do June and Dana. And you have people like Alison walking around hating June, hating her so bad. Like, I think with June, she still has Jack and Erika's I wouldn't say trust, but they're not targeting June. Yeah. And I think that she can still work her way into that. But right now, Alison and Nathan hate her and see her as basically one of the reasons why they're big targets. And then when you're looking inside of the Three Stooges, it's like she has Dana, but she said on the TV edit that she doesn't even like Dana. Yeah. And the Three Stooges, like Robert and Justin, she doesn't have much of a relationship with. Her main relationship is with G. And it's like, it's not even a situation where, well, G is now protecting you on this other side because now you're on the other side. She's no longer in the middle and she's actually seen as a threat to her original 8-person alliance. Now, of course, she wins it somehow. So I'm assuming soon, you know, the thing about June is that she's in a position to where she isn't the biggest target in the room. And I think that's a lot of her own doing because of the social connections she made from the beginning. Like, now that it's starting to get a little bit more sticky in the game, she's still one of the safer people because of her original connections. Like, even if she is targeted next to Justin will likely go home. If Justin wins veto, they put up Alison will, Dana will go home. But it's just the fact that she's even seen as an option to be nominated is insane because she was not in that position before. So I have to bring her down. And because they're looking to fully nominate my girl, and they even mentioned targeting in a few conversations, I'm going to have to bring it down to the 3.5.
Yeah, it's bad.
I don't think that it's necessarily anything too crazy, but the way they have mentioned her name with Justin and Dana, I can see a reality in where if they won and they put them up, then they could just be like, well, June can go, because they're literally saying June is the brains of that side. She's holding that side together. So it's not looking good for her at all.
Yeah. Specifically Alison. Alison is the main one who has June clock. She knows she has a final 2 secret deal with G, which is true. She knows that she's one of the smartest people in the house, which is true. She knows that she's doing this flip-flop shit, which she low-key wants to do, which is true. And Alison is the type of person is that if you're playing her game, she's definitely going to want you gone. So knowing Alison's the next HOH, I'm like, fuck June. But even not knowing that, Alison is the most active person on that side of the house. If Erika or Nathan or Jack won HOH, I could see Alison trying to impress them with her, with her thoughts on June. And we saw before David left the house, he had a last conversation with Erika and Jack, and he was like, honestly, y'all might need to be worried about June, because when Alison is saying, I'm starting to believe she is one of the smartest people in the house. So even Erika and Jack are kind of leaving on the note of June is very smart. So June could definitely be nominated. She could definitely be targeted next week, which is the issue. This week, I think it's very impressive to want to do something completely opposite of what you're actually doing. The fact that every one of her diary rooms and every one of her one-on-one conversations with Dana are about how she hates Dana, she doesn't fuck with the Stooges, and she would rather go with the 8, and she wants Dana to go with the 8. It's impressive that she does not exude that in any form or fashion to the people who are in the game. Dana thinks she loves her, that the other 3 Stooges think that she's firmly with them, and the whole time she don't give a fuck, and she probably is going to pivot right now that Alison is the HOH, which is going to be interesting to see. So I do find that impressive, and it's clearly like a disconnect between, or like a big gap between the way June is thinking and playing versus everyone else. It's so different how she's acting to these people versus what she's doing. And I feel like we kind of saw that with some of, the greats from these last couple of seasons as well. It's like they would act a certain way to the house, and the house would love them. Like June got this scene this week where they're showing how funny she is and how likable she is. And then you see her like making fun of herself and making jokes, and everyone's like, we love June. June is hilarious as fuck. She's funny as fuck. Kiki. And it reminded me of the same scene with Danielle Reyes, I want to say week 3 last season. It was like around the same time where it's like everyone loved who she was. And then in the diary room, June and Danny are like, I don't give a fuck about none of these bitches. And it's like she just has the resemblance, the same things that the greats have said in the past. It's kind of what she's doing. She's pretending to be this likable person, but in reality, she doesn't give a fuck about them. And people know she's smart. People are mad at her, but I don't think people know she doesn't like them. Dana doesn't know she doesn't like them. I don't even think Alison knows she doesn't like him. I think Alison just doesn't like her, So it's like she still has this veil. And I can see her being able to talk to Ali and Nathan like she always does. And like you said, she has existing relationships. So it's protecting her. She's the only one who has a relationship with Ali and Nathan on this other side. They'd be dumb to nominate her in a way, because it's like, that's your only friend on that side. None of them fuck with you but June, allegedly. So I think she has her outs, but like you said, they're targeting her real bad.
Yeah, they're saying her name.
They're saying her name. Ali says June might need to go before Dana and Justin. Like, she straight up said that to Nathan. So it's really, really bad. So I'm impressed by her ways, but she's in such a bad position. I have to agree with the 3.5. Mm-hmm. And we just
it's looking real bad. And before people get in the comments saying, what? This is June the like, no, y'all.
They have bad weeks. Danielle had bad weeks.
They have bad weeks sometimes. Now I
Will had 10 bad weeks.
But honestly, I think it's only this low, and
this thing low. She top 4, baby.
That's the thing, but because this cast they are not. It's a combination of they're not the best players, and they're all kind of targeting each other. Like everyone is against everyone. No one is in a solidified group. No one is the most protected. It was a period of time where June and Alison were because they were in the middle, but now we see Alison has joined the original 8. June has joined the 5 Stooges, so they're on sides of the game. And when you choose a side or when you're perceived on a side, you're targeted. And literally both of them are huge targets for their respective sides. So it's struggle city for both of them right now. The safest people in the game, or the people who've been mentioned the least as targets, are the highest, and that's Jack, Erika, and G.
100%.
That's the thing. June is right next because I do not think she's someone that can be evicted, but targeted, they're saying her name. So it's not looking the best. I'm excited to see where we're going to get to the point of like, okay, we know that her and Alison are like solidified great floaters to where it doesn't matter what happened. You're still at the top of the ranking. Because I kind of thought June was going to give that. I didn't expect her to be a name that people are saying could go home soon.
I agree.
Of course, that changes over time, but like the fact that they're even saying it, I didn't expect. Now, Alison, I can easily see, honestly, Alison this being her fate the entire rest of the season. So I don't know how much she's going to move up. But June, I'm really interested to see, because I feel like I'm going to change this like next week. Like next week, she's going to be 8 again. And it's like, okay, because she's that girl.
Yeah, and also with split seasons, which this is the first, I would say, official split season. Season 1, it was a very big, it was like 8 versus 3, and no one really tried to play around with that, or season 2. And then BB3, it was different sides and factions, but it was not a direct split like how this was. It was layers to it. People thought they were working with people they weren't, all this other stuff. This is the first time that we kind of get this is one side, this is the other side. And I was telling Lee, BB4 to BB5 to BB6 is like the literal pathway to birthing a full split season, because this is kind of like becoming a split. Season 5 is very split from the beginning, but it's not that even. And then there's all these willing and dealings. And then season 6, it's like, bitch, it's us and it's y'all and it's fuck y'all and it's fuck us. So it's like we really see this cultivation within the 3. It's like a trilogy. It's like a movie, like Hunger Games 1, Hunger Games Catch a Fire. Yeah, okay, boom. So, but with this situation, because it's split, everyone who's not in the middle, you're gonna be low. That's why all these scores are so low. Like some of these people are just bad players, but also in the split season, like BB6, they're gonna have lowest fuck scores. It's split. Any of you bitches can go, and that's what we saw. BB20, same shit. Any of y'all can go. That's not a beneficial structure for anyone unless you're able to float. How June will prove she can, Alison will prove she can. So if you're not that strategic in that way, it's going to be a terrible position for you because you're going to be on one side or the other, period. So that's what happened. Like you said, the people who are at the top, Jack, Erika, G, are just the people who are the least on a side, really. They're the most protected from their side. And then Dana, Nathan, and Alison are the biggest threats. And Justin. Dana, Justin, and Nathan and Alison are the top 2 targets on either side. And then Robert and June are kind of like, you could be pawn, but you could not. So here we are. But yeah, overall, a really good week, I will say. I enjoyed this week.
It was a lot going on.
It was a lot
going on.
It was a lot. And it was not super consistent. There was like there would be a conversation about something and then the conversation about another thing within the same day. It's like, damn, it's a lot going on. But it might get a little more structured now that it's kind of just sides. So we'll see. But definitely tune in on Thursday. We will be going over episodes 12, 13, and 14, which is week 4 of Big Brother 4 on Thursday. So definitely watch if you want to watch along with us and tune in with us on Thursday for that. Of course, every Wednesday, we're still covering Survivor. Right after the episodes on Wednesdays, and on Thursdays we are covering the challenge for the rest of the season, so definitely get into that as well. And thank you guys so much for keeping it real with the kingdom, baby. We out.
Mwah.